Hi, it's Sandy Parker and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to be doing a project with some die storage and a die plier that cuts those little pieces off from Lifescraft art. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, the nice people at Lifescraft sent me this super nice die storage, and I'm going to go into detail about it in a minute, but what I did, it's completely, I'll show you the back because I already started playing with the front. It's the cover on the outside is just a heavy plastic, and it's got this snap for the front so that you can make it so that it's gonna stay in, it's going to stay shut, and it's long enough that it can expand, which you need when you start putting dies in. What I did was I bought from my local Home Depot, and this is any hardware store you have, these vent covers. They're made for, if you can't see this, they're made for the vents you have in your house, and you get 3 of them, and they're around $5, and they're, I think, 8 by 15. Yeah, 8 by 15. And I needed, when I cut mine down, I needed them to be 9 by 6. And then what I did was I took 2 of them. I'll pull this back out. This has a little flap that you put in there to keep them closed once you've got the dies in there. And then you have to remember they're all going to stick together, but until you have your dies attached, like each 2 pages will stick together. So you put your 2 dies in there, and I put tear tape between them, and it made them stiff enough that they'll stay in place. And then we'll put dies in here in a little bit. Then I decided I wanted to cover the inside of this, or the cover of this. And here's the cool thing about this. I went to my local Sherwin-Williams, which is in the United States, it's a paint store. And I said to the guy that worked there, hey, is there any chance that you have any old wallpaper sample books that you'd be willing to give me? He walked over, pulled one out, handed it to me, and out I went. It's great because the size is huge. I think they're 24 by 24. They're huge. I mean, they're really good size. And mine were all different patterns and different textures, so I ought to be able to do all kinds of fun stuff with them. I started out with this one and realized I cut it wrong, so I gave up on it. In the end, my first piece that I put tear tape on is this one, and I thought it would work fine if I put the tear tape on the actual piece of wallpaper. Why I can't remember the name wallpaper, I don't know. But anyway, that didn't work for my very first piece. My very first piece is way down here. I shoved it as far as I could under the side so that it would be almost to there's like brads down there that you need to worry about. Then what I did was I did put tear tape on the paper for the rest. Oh, and the other thing I had to do is I did this so that this was lined. So I used the turquoise for the outside and the silver for the inside, and because I tried it without the inside and it just looked bad. So if I'm going to do the work to make this something I'm going to use, I want to make sure that I also make it something that I like. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to have Rich cut this part out. I don't think you really care about seeing me take the backing off the tear tape. Okay, now keep in mind that we're going to try and shove this down in here as far as we can make it. So what my plan here is I'm going to shove this as far in here as I can get it. Hopefully that's far enough. And then I'm going to pull this toward me so that it's completely attached to the plastic. Now I'm not thrilled that you can see the tape, but I couldn't figure out another way to make this work so that the wallpaper was in place, if you know what I mean, to get it to stay in place. And I gotta find my other two pieces here. Okay, I've already put some tear tape on the backing of this, so we're gonna take all of this off, backing, and then we'll attach the two pieces together. Then the other thing you need to remember is if you're going to be doing different dies in your book, and I think I have like 9 pages front and back, if you're going to be doing different, like maybe the first 3 pages are going to be sentiments, and then maybe the next page is going to be flowers, and then the next page is going to be something else, it would make sense for you to end up buying yourself some tabs that are sturdy. You could make your own tabs, but frankly, I've done that before, and sometimes when you're talking about something like this, where it's where what you're using is sturdy or heavy duty, I guess we'll call it, you want to make sure that you do it so that you have ones that are gonna end up handling the test of time. I remember when I did it with the other piece, it seemed like they were, when I put them together, that they were a little bit wonky, even though I cut them with this. So let me see how I'm doing size-wise. Okay, I can cut off a little bit of this one. I'm gonna slide this in and see how I did size-wise. I could maybe cut a teeny bit off the bottom. So I think I'm going to do that. I think it's maybe like 1/8 of an inch. Next, what we're going to do, this first piece, when I did it on the other side, I realized that it was not, that it kept ripping off of the paper, because I put it on the paper and not on the plastic, and it was ripping off of there, and that didn't bode well for the project. So what I did in the end is I took the tear tape and I put it on the plastic like I'm doing this time, and I only did one piece on the plastic so that I could be sure that I didn't end up having all of my paper attached to a wonky section of this. I think you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so I've got that piece out. I'm going to roll this back on itself so it's in there good. And then remember, we're going to put the blue piece in facing out. So that's where we need to put the rest of our tear tape. And all I'm going to do is take, I should have made it straighter than this, but I didn't. We're going to put you want to make sure this is really well adhered to the entire piece, because it will pull off. I think I already said that, but I want to say it again. I want to make sure we're on the right page with this with each other. Finding a good system for your dies is tricky. I've tried several and I've not been in love with any of them. I've been in love with them in the process of making them and thinking to myself, well, this is going to work. And then they don't seem to work, and then I hate myself for going to all the effort and not having it work. So let me make sure these are all well adhered. And then I'm only going to take the backing off of the first 2. And the reason for that is I only want to have some of it adhered. I don't want to end up having it the whole thing get attached. So remember, I didn't put any tear tape up here because the tear tape is down at the bottom. So my goal here is to make sure that this is as straight as it can be and lined up with the edges of the book. Okay, so let's get that much down. And then, okay, all I have left are 2 more strips that need to be removed. Okay. And then we're gonna move that clip. I didn't have this go all the way to this plastic edge. You won't see it, and the reason I didn't do it is because I was afraid if I did it, I would end up having an issue with it being stuck, basically, or I didn't want it. Does that make sense? Probably not. Okay, so here's our die book, and then I bought, as I think I already said, these index tabs. Now, I thought about putting them on the edge, like that. Maybe this first one is sentiments. Whatever it is, I think I'm going to put it on this edge. So I'm not going to do that right now, but I am going to cut apart some dies. And the reason for that is I want to see if this tool actually works, and I hope it does, because let's face it, I've had struggles with those, and it makes me want to cry when I can't get them to work. So in case none of you have ever had dies that you can't get apart because they're too tight together when you get them, and they've got these little teeny tiny tabs, and you really struggle to get them apart. At least I do, and the reason I do is obviously I'm not very strong, but I have bought literally at least 5 or 6 different types of these cutters. I was trying to find some of the ones I bought, but I don't see any right here. Anyway, they never worked. This one is angled. It was more expensive. Obviously, the Lifescraft people gave it to me at no cost, which was lovely. But I bought so many on my own, I wanted to make sure that I could get this to work. And I wanted to make sure you guys can get these to work. Okay, so this is angled. Hopefully you could push that out of the way so you can see it. And I thought if they were angled, that would help me to be able to get them apart. Let me see if I can just snap one off. And I hate doing this, but I want to see if I can get those snip those little pieces off. Those little enders are the things that I struggle with. Now this, okay, let me show you this too. This is closed at the top in that bent part of these pliers. So you're going to want to go at it from this angle. Hopefully you can see that. Oh my gosh. Do you know, in all the times I've done this, I've never done that and heard that break. I'm so happy. I can't even tell you. And I don't know if I said this, but these I think were $9.99, which is a lot for pliers. But the people at Lifescraft, I'm not affiliated with them, but they're so nice that I always say to them, look, if you give me the tools to try them out for my viewers, if they want to buy them, all I ask in return is that you give my viewers a discount. And so they are giving you guys a 25% discount. So that takes this down. Oh, that was easy. Oh my gosh, people. You can't imagine how thrilled I am that that worked. Anyway, long story short, these I think will be $7.50. And I'll put the link below the video for this. This was inexpensive. And it came with the pockets. So you don't have to buy your own pockets. And the pockets, I think I said, have this flap, so you can tuck the flap in with your dies. And I'll just pull this out, and I could have made these smaller, and I didn't, but I could have. But they slide in and out easily. And I thought we would attach this set to it so we'll know how it works. And if you've never known how to do this, when you put your dies down, you want to put them down with the flat side down. Not that raised edge that's your cutting edge. You want the flat side to be down. Because if it's not, if you use the other edge, what's going to happen is you're going to not have adhere well. Like if I did it upside down like this, it doesn't have the same stick. I don't know if you, wait, I'll pull it out more. Hopefully you can see this better. This one's upside down. See how I can move that one around? This one is a lot harder to move around. This one, if I flip it back over and you get it like that, it's harder to move. And you want it to be harder to move. So, again, if I was in your shoes, I would make sure that you put them on your cardboard or your, yeah. See, the reason it's doing that is the back magnet. This didn't occur to me. The back magnet is right now attaching itself to this magnet. But what I think is if I put on this piece magnet or dies, I think at that point I'm not going to have any issues, because then they won't attach to each other, because the dies will be separating the magnet from the other magnet. Did that make sense? I hope it did. The code for the 25% discount is Sandy25. You know, I write everything below the video. In case you didn't know that, I write all of the information about products and procedures. Everything that I do in a video, I write it below the video in the more information area. So if you're ever looking for how did I do something, it's in that information below the video. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and that if you're looking for some of these and you have wrist strength issues, I thought, okay, I'm just going to tell you this. I thought when I saw these and I saw this little circular wire piece, I thought that could be the answer, and it is. I am so happy. Anyway, I think this would be like $7.50, and I think this was like $6.99. This was pretty inexpensive for something that holds that many dies. And oh wait, did I tell you how many pages are in it? I want to make sure I do that. I think there's 9, but I could be lying. There's 8. And when I cut apart these pieces, I had enough to cover all of them. The very last pages, I'd already used a little bit of it, so in the very last pages, I put in a piece of cardboard, and I only put, I'll show you this, I only put this strip of magnetic sheet, like in these 2 pages, so that I'd be able to use them, and they'd stay in place, because I was afraid at how narrow it was that they wouldn't stay in place. So there it is, finished. I could put more stickers and things on the outside, but I didn't. I hope you enjoyed this, that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.